safety.
And welcome back. Well, you may feel safe and secure in your environment, but the truth is, if you're a woman, you're a target for certain kinds of criminals.
Yeah, joining us now is self-defense class instructor and 6th-degree black belt in Taekwondo, Master Jay Mustapich, along with Jackie Collins. She is an adult sexual assault and abuse counselor at the Women's Center. So nice to have both of you here. Thanks so much for your time. So one of the things you say is just that women need to be prepared, right?
Yes.
Why? Prepared how?
Well, think about, like, even in here, you have a fire extinguisher, but you have to have a safety plan. You have to have regular checks. You need to know where you need to go if you're in a bad situation. And self-defense is the same way. The actual punches and kicks, that's the tool. Like, that's the extinguisher if you have to use it. But hopefully, you don't have to get to that point. You have to be aware of your surroundings. You have to be able to have an escape plan as well. And if it comes down to it, then you can use it.
And what does it mean to be aware of your surroundings? Because I always question that. If I'm in a dark parking lot or something and I'm kind of looking around over my shoulders, I think that's being aware, but does that also make you look nervous or uncomfortable or more easy to target?
Well, the point is self-defense, you know. So even, and it doesn't matter to me if it's a male or female student of mine, I always encourage them, if you can walk with a partner somewhere, in groups, there's more safety or less likely you're going to be attacked in a group anyways. So if that's to your advantage, I say absolutely do it. But if you have certain feelings, if you don't feel uncomfortable, if you go into an area and you kind of get a bad vibe, I say you should listen to that and be aware. Maybe not even go into that establishment if that's kind of how you feel.
Trust your instinct or your gut, in other words. You have these workshops. What do you teach as part of those?
Well, some of the things that we're talking about now, about being aware of your surroundings, getting in touch with how you feel, that which includes meditation. And we actually do stretching, because part of being equipped is being calm. And so we do that through meditation, through exercise. We have open discussions, because I like to hear from my students, like, what are your experiences? What are your concerns? I want to be able to make sure I can address those with them too. And with that, it's like, how do you get out of certain grabs? A grab is very typical. How can you use your hands? How can you use your feet? How can you use instruments like even car keys for self-defense?
I think those are great things, and often I do believe that women, we always feel this is such an important thing for us to do, but we tend to put on the back burner. Are there any things that you can teach us today that people who are watching can literally just use right now in their everyday life and learn?
I can, and it doesn't necessarily need a lot of training.
Okay.
Preferably, you want to be able to do the technique as accurate as possible if you want to be most effective, but that's like any kind of training at all. So,
okay,
why don't you get up and show us something? Yeah.
Okay.
And these are things that you teach people to do in some of your workshops, I know. But what are we going to start with? Is it the grab?
This is a very common grab right here.
Okay, grab somebody by the wrist. Okay.
I'm trying to take her into a place she does not want to be.
Okay.
Now, if I'm stronger than her...
Yeah, you got a nice grip there.
Okay. And I'm trying to
her hand is white.
I'm trying to take her in this direction. She does not want to go that way. Her first instinct may be to be, I need to pull away.
Yeah, like this.
But if you're pulling, what we are now engaged in is a tug of war.
Okay.
Your arm is the rope. And as you know, in tug of war, the stronger side is the one that's going to win.
Right.
So #1 rule, although that's your first reaction, is don't pull. What you want to do first is you want to extend your hand. I feel your wrist get stronger, it expands, and now instead of pull, I want you to think of bending the elbow as if you're getting the thumb to the shoulder.
Well, I could feel that. I could feel your grip getting a little less strong.
Correct. So if we go one more time, I want you to try to pull.
Okay. I can't do that at all.
Okay. So you open your hand as wide as you can, bending at the elbow.
And it works.
Let me try that.
That was good.
Okay.
That was really good.
I want to see.
You can feel the
so
difference.
I'm like, my natural tendency is like that.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to bend.
grip.
Oh, wait, open
First, open the hand, bending at the elbow, touching the thumb to the shoulder.
Okay.
And if you would come, miss, it would even work if I had 2 hands.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That works really well.
That's interesting.
And it's all based on science, because if you imagine, in this position, you see the bend in my arm. So imagine a person who does bodybuilding can do this with ease.
Okay.
But you take that same weight and hold it straight, it's very difficult. What you have now created is the bent arm coming up to make it straight. Makes it hard for me to hold your weight. Coming out and now you have a plethora of things you can do.
I'm gonna have to try that one more.
Yeah, and I want to make sure we
good.
talk to Jackie too. There are other tips, and I know you talk about the palm of the hand up at the nose. Is that a good one too, in the face?
Again, because
Okay.
we're not focusing on strength, we're focusing on, well, where on the attacker are the weak points. The nose is, I mean, you can do any kind of bodybuilding you want to, and you're not going to be able to put a lot of
Strength in the
here.
nose.
Or between the legs.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Let's
a
go for the jewels.
palm up
Yeah.
the nose, whether you have nails or not, scraping down the face afterwards, kicking in between the legs.
Okay.
That could be an easy follow-up to the getaway if you need to do that.
All right, Jackie,
great.
let's talk a little bit. You work as an adult sexual assault and abuse counselor at the Women's Center. This is all important stuff for women to know, because the women you counsel and help, it's after this has happened and they've been hurt.
Right. And several of them have had self-defense training, and I have talked to Master Jay about that, but it hasn't been the same kind that he teaches. And we did talk about that when we first met, that the things that he teaches are different than the things that they learned. And it's important for a lot of layering with assertiveness and awareness of your surroundings. And these are all the same kinds of things. So if you don't have a tape in your head for certain situations, so like a police officer would have, for instance, when they go through their training, they go over it in all these different situations. So when something happens, they
know what to
they
do.
can pull it up like this. Someone who goes into the service, the same thing. So if they have multiple layers, if they learn something from Master Jay, if we talk about something with them, then it would be easier for them if they come into a situation again to pull something up.
remember it
Yes.
quickly.
Absolutely.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I was going to say, you know, there are many times when women should just get out of a situation. Is there any good keys to leave women when you should just try and run or get out as fast as you can?
If there's a weapon, absolutely.
But just when they feel very physically threatened,
feel
right? And
very
they can get
physically
away, because the
threatened,
self-defense is probably something you do so you can cut and run,
It's a
right?
tool.
Okay, yeah, it's an important
It's a
tool.
tool.
We wanted to make sure we mentioned the Metropolitan Builders Association this morning, because I know that they've joined forces to help with the Women's Council to raise money, materials, and labor to help the Women's Center with a lot of needed repairs and remodeling on projects. So a big thank you to them. There are a couple self-defense workshops coming up. The first one is happening this Saturday, the 18th, at La Casa de Esperanza, and that's happening in Waukesha. And then Saturday, the 25th, at Alverno College. The workshops cost $25, and you can find out more and register by calling Marcy at 262-784-4250, and both classes happening morning 10:45 a.m. and 12:45 as
And we'll
well.
see you tomorrow or next week.
Yeah,
right.
Gotta figure that out. Gotta work that in. It's important.
Thanks,
All
you
right.
guys.
Thanks,
you
you
very much.
guys.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
Thank
it.
you.